When I was 16, my mom pointed at me in front of her important friends and said, "Birth control is only 99% effective. He's the 1%. People laughed. Then she added, "We already got the perfect kid. This one's the family mistake." I walked out that night with 40 bucks in a backpack. 6 years later, they showed up crying at my door, and they didn't know I owned their house. In my family, my brother was the plan. I was the punchline. My mom had been making cheap condoms jokes about me since I was little. My dad called me a tax write-off whenever he'd been drinking. I learned to grin through it, because if I looked hurt, they'd call me dramatic. That dinner party was my mom's big audition for the country club crowd. She lit candles, pulled out the good plates, and turned me into a waiter. I stayed invisible until someone mentioned kids being expensive. My mom got that look. She fired off the 1% line, and my dad laughed like it was comedy gold. I didn't scream. I didn't break dishes. I set the dirty glasses down carefully and walked upstairs. I dumped my textbooks, packed clothes, grabbed my charger and the $40 I'd been saving. My brother came in, silent, and shoved extra cash and his old phone into my hand. He said, "They won't notice until tomorrow." I left at midnight. Bus station, youth shelter, a sketchy diner job washing dishes for cash. Winter hit, and I still didn't have a real coat. I was exhausted in a way that made my bones feel loud. Then a regular at the diner caught me dozing on shift. He didn't report me. He asked why I wasn't in school, listened, and offered work. He helped me get my GED and put me on renovation crews. He let me crash on his couch until I could afford a tiny studio that smelled like defeat. My brother kept contact through a throwaway email. My parents searched for a few weeks, mostly online for attention. By month 5, they turned my bedroom into a home gym. My mom even posted, "Making lemonade from life's lemons." That post got more love than the missing kid one, so I stopped being angry and started being practical. I worked. I saved. I took cheap online classes. I learned money like it was a language, because money doesn't care who wanted you. I met my partner through school, and she was the first person who said, "Okay, what's the plan? What's the plan?" My brother warned me our parents were drowning in debt and heading for foreclosure, so I bought their mortgage, quietly, through an LLC. The bank didn't ask for my childhood trauma story. They just wanted their check. I didn't foreclose. I waited for the moment they'd come looking for their mistake, like a spare credit card. Then my apartment buzzer wouldn't stop. On the camera, I saw them outside my door, desperate. They came back the next day. This time, I buzzed them up. My mom tried to hug me and I stepped aside. She cried on cue, like tears were her native language. My dad scanned my furniture like he was pricing it. They swore they never stopped looking until I asked, "Why are you here?" 2 weeks from eviction. They needed money. They needed somewhere to stay. I told them I'd think. Then I invited them to dinner in a private room, mid-range place. The kind my dad used to call a ripoff. They walked in expecting a quiet cash handoff. Instead, my partner was there. My brother was there. And the man who fed me work at 17 was there. I slid a folder across the table for them. After that, I opened it slow. Next, I tapped the signature line with my finger. My dad leaned in, squinting hard at the page. My mom whispered, "What is this?" I said, "Your mortgage. I own it now." Then the room went dead silent. My dad turned red, then went hollow. My mom gripped her purse like it mattered. My brother stared at his water, hiding a smile. I gave them 3 options: foreclosure, renting, or earning mercy. I'd sign the house back over only with conditions. First, they publicly admitted what they did to the same people who laughed. Second, counseling with me and my brother, with a professional witness. Third, a signed agreement they'd never ask me for money again. My dad muttered, "So you did all this to hurt us?" So I said, "No, I did it to balance the books." They stormed out. I gave them 48 hours. On the deadline morning, they came back looking crushed and signed everything. Not because they understood, because they had no choice. My mom posted an apology that still made her the victim. My dad called twice, cautious, like he was testing a hot stove. My brother hugged me before he left and said he was proud. I didn't feel joyful. I felt satisfied, like the mistake finally got to correct the math.